If you allow me, I would spend a few minutes on just a few slides, diving you deeper into what exactly we're building with Weezi, and then later on we'll go into the live demonstration of how this tooling is actually working. So, in essence, with Weezi, we are building a supermarket for all on-chain investment strategies in one place. And if you are familiar with the space, the easiest way to think about it is Weezi is basically a Yearn or Instadapp 2.0, where you have a management platform for assets with intuitive interfaces, adding two additional functionalities. Number one, you have more automated strategies with higher yields. Like if you compare, for example, your automated strategies in Curve, Yearn on stable coins, you can get, I don't know, 3-4% at the moment. But then with Instadapp, if you have a leverage strategy on stables, you can get 8% yield and higher. So those strategies, they become more and more complex. On the other hand, you have more functionality with DAO tools like multi-sig voting, accounting, and some other features that you cannot get at the moment anywhere in the space. So as we all know, both DAO tooling and DeFi ecosystems, they have grown very drastically over the last years. DeFi has grown to a range of 75 to 100 billion dollars over the 3 years, and DAO actually ecosystem actually 10x over the last 12 months to about 11 billions in TVL, and is continuing to grow. But both fields actually have a lot of struggles at the moment, right? A lot of bottlenecks and problems. So DAO tooling is pretty much like a jungle right now, that there's tons of projects, everybody's claiming the same. You don't know what's working, what's not, and it's very hard to differentiate. At the same time, when you talk to the clients, they usually come with three needs. So they either want a social DAO, so they would need like a community and discussion groups and voting, usually snapshot and off-chain voting. Secondly, they might need treasury or asset management to manage risks and maybe to get higher returns. And third, they need usually operational cost centers. So where they could have their capital and spend this capital on payments, on salaries, on grants, and so on. So with that, it means that once you start combining a specific DAO for specific needs of this organization, you end up having a very large variety of tool sets. And each of them needing very specific specialization, right? Like payments, for example, so streaming payments, or layered voting rights, accounting, and so on. And that leads you to the understanding that there is no possibility to get, one DAO tooling for all. It's just impossible to do. So that's why specialization is coming in this page, in this sphere. And with Weezi, what we're doing is we're focusing on just one thing. This is the industry of asset management. So it's about managing money, on chain, and we're providing templates for specific investment needs, right? Like your hedge DAO, your fixed income DAO, ventures, syndicates, and so on, and just give you all the functionality for this specific need. With DeFi, there's another problem, right? So it is becoming very, very complex, very difficult for general public to understand how all the strategies work, because the generic strategies actually bring you very low yields at the moment. And with more projects appearing on more blockchain protocols and more investment strategy steps, it's just becoming also an industry for the specialized professionals, right, who spend most of their time on all these things. And then there's this never-ending battle in between automated strategies and manual strategies. So automated strategies, because they're automated, they have more trust, and as a result, more TVL. But then they have lower returns, right? Yields, as they have like more money under management. Example would be Curve, Aave, and Yearn, and so on. On the flip side, if you look into the manual strategies, you have more flexibility to react to the market and new opportunities in DeFi market. But then it means that you actually have higher returns, but that means that you have less trust, because in the end of the day, you giving there's this agency problem, right? Because you need to pass on the right to vote to somebody who would then allocate those funds left, right, and center. So if you start automating the strategies. By the time you develop like a smart contract, audit it, and roll it out to the market, usually the yields drop, right? So it's always like the game of catching the train. So that's why you almost have the DAO tools, but you don't have a lot of assets under management because of the trust issue. And that's the problem with most of the projects or that are fighting this field at the moment with like your Enzyme, DHedge, and all the other guys, because the trust is always a question there, like who is making the votes and why will they not run away with my money? So with Weezi, we solve those problems in three steps, very simple steps. So with DAO tooling that actually work now, so it's not in projects, not in our plans, where you can actually deploy the DAO tools at the moment now on Ethereum, on Polygon, and BSC now live, right? Secondly, we have a traditional fund structure in a DAO format, but with very critical functions. I'll explain it in very quickly. And then we have automated real-time accounting and transparent financials, which is like a big elephant in the room in DeFi space, which nobody talks about, but it's a big pain point. So with DAO tooling, we have three networks, as I mentioned, that are working at the moment. The testnet, also few of them are coming up. We have the templates that I just mentioned as well for hedge fund and fixed income, and then the venture syndicate NFT pools and GameFi pools that are also in active development at the moment. And what is also critical and important is that we have single interface for dozens of wallets, right? So you don't need to run 15 wallets on different chains and then try to account for all of them and manage them and all that. So we're building one interface with a infrastructure of master DAO and sub DAOs, where one master DAO actually manages all the other DAOs, and that we can run now on all individual chains, and we're working on different solutions to run it cross-chain at the moment. So you just need one interface to vote, through all different sub DAOs that you can have. Second thing, the problem with this automated manual strategies was solved with the approach of a limiter. So basically, when first of all, our traditional fund structure is copied from your traditional financial system when you have GPs and LPs, general partners and limited partners. In our case, those would be the voting tokens and the community tokens. So the voting tokens would have the voting power. Community tokens would represent basically the assets that are allocated by the investors or the public, and vice versa. So what happens then is that the LP tokens would then vote for the specific strategy, or basically whitelist the smart contracts where the assets can go and return from it. And the voting tokens or the GP tokens would then only act within those limits that are managed by the people. And if you need to adapt to the strategy to something new that appears to it, again, you change the whitelist, and then again the voting tokens would just then execute within the limits that are set in there. So this is a very interesting innovation that doesn't exist very much anywhere. And then, of course, the last but not the least, the most important thing is the automated counting. If you ask anybody who is running assets on DeFi right now, then everybody falls back to spreadsheets and Excel to account for what's happening, the financial performance, whatnot. Our solution, when you deploy a DAO, you have an on-chain accounter that runs all your historical price performance. From that, you derive all the financials like P&Ls, balance sheets, NAV, token prices, success fees, hurdle rates, and even the Sharpe ratio is calculated live. If I could now try to, can I share the screen so that I can show how the application works? So basically, what I'll show you now very quickly is this is the functionality, right? So as you go to Weezi.io, you have this web page. You have all the documentation here with with tokenomics, if anybody wants to go through it over here. Then as you launch the dApp, it goes directly to the active page for the depositors and the DAO managers. So for people who would like to sort of select a DAO, you just click on each one of them and you have the functionality of all the graphs, with historical performance of the price here. And of course, you can, click in different time frames to just see what actually happens from here to there. Then the net asset, under management as well. So what happened over time, you can see exactly. Then, of course, the APIs and the liquidity pools. The second thing, of course, is the monthly returns. It shows you exactly, how much this DAO actually performed from the first day of each month to the last one. This functionality is also quite handy. Like if you set up, if you set up, let's say, a certain success fee, let's say 20% or 15 or whatever, every time there's a new money that comes in or comes out, it runs the counter, Weezi counter runs the on-chain accounting. And at the moment, it just shows that, okay, for example, for this DAO, there's 11,000 something US dollars worth of accumulated success fees or carries, which are not withdrawn, right? So the investor always sees the price for the token at the NAV net of all the expenses, and the fund managers or the DAO managers, they can see how much this DAO actually generated for them. And by the certain time when they decide to withdraw this carry, like monthly or quarterly, they can just vote and withdraw this capital. And then you have also this on-chain validation here. So as for you just to double check that, okay, this money is it here, or is it? So basically you select the DAO, you come in here, you have the token prices. So yeah, you can just scroll through all the graphs here and the timing just to see what exactly was happening to the price, to the net asset values here, the whole portfolio as well, and the APIs and so on. So the monthly returns here as well, it shows you exactly what happened from the first day of the month to the last one. Success fees, exactly what I just described, right? It calculates automatically on this DAO how much money the general partners actually generated from this. If you set your success fees at 20 or 30 or whatever percent, then in here you have the depositable assets. In here you have the community tokens or the governance tokens, the wallets that you can cross-check, and see like what exactly is sitting on this wallets at the moment. The other very quick and cool functionality here is the functionality for the investors. So if they invest their token, like to this or that DAO, they can then they usually ask a question like, how much money do I make, right? So with this functionality, once you have the LP tokens on your wallets, you just connect it to here and go to my account, and it gives you a summary of what exactly you've invested over time, what's your value of the portfolio now, how much money you actually made, your returns, and the annualized returns, of course. And then it gives you the split by each individual token that you have on your wallet. So for example, you have 6,000 something tokens that are called Flex. You bought it at the average price like this at different time frames. The current price is this, and then you have all the financials here. Same goes for Dina, for BDQ, and whatnot. So if you have like a range of those tokens here, you just have like a summary that will happen here. And now, so let's say you can select different chains. For us, just for us to do it like very quickly, if you don't mind, if you want to, let's say, launch a new DAO, you click a button. It's just 3 steps. So you can say you want to open up a new DAO that's called Weezi test, let's say 111. Certain DAO descriptions here. You can either copy paste or whatnot, and then you go through the selection of the governance token, the community token. Again, you say it's Weezi governance 1, for example, WG1 as the token. In here we have some preset parameters for each traditional DAO, but of course you can change the amounts here, and of course the voting rights and so on, the durations. You click next. Again, you select the name for the community token, and for example, Weezi Community 1, and then you click create. It just triggers the transaction from my MetaMask. I'm confirming it, and I guess we'll just wait for a few seconds before it's the DAO is created, and then after that we'll see all the functionality. So we have this test 111 DAO. We click on it. We see all the details here. Of course, apparently it's very, it's zeros now because it's empty. So you go to the manage section, and the functionality shows here, the tokens that, the voting tokens that we just developed, and they here. So also you have the community tokens that you could also, see that they're active. Then you can make the deposit very quickly. For example, I could just say that I want to purchase one community token for 1 USDT on my wallet. And as I'm transacting, so I'm just confirming this transaction. It's going to go very quickly right now. Then it would, once I make this request to deposit this 1 USDT to the DAO, it would go to the voting procedure, and I will just walk you through the voting procedure very quickly, and we will see this amount of money on the new DAO that we have just created. You can see that, okay, we just made this deposit. It went to the voting part that we're just waiting for the, for the upload. Oh no, sorry. I need to pass the transaction first to submit it, for the voting, to make sure that I'm having it. So I'm going to the voting part right now. We'll see the voting procedure soon, and then yep. So it's here. So again, I'm approving it. It has all the descriptions, of course, which are which are being done at the moment. And once this procedure is done, so yeah, it's done. We can then go back to the DAO and see that right now. So we have all the addresses for the just created community tokens, the governance tokens, the DAO address, all of them here. And if we go to the agent, it just throws us to Zapper right now. So we could just check. It shows us exactly that on this DAO we just deposited one USDT, and you have it here. And then of course you can initiate all the voting procedures to allocate these assets across different farming strategies.